Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Rise Factor. Today, I have the beautiful Mahalia joining me, and I'm super excited because I had the absolute pleasure of working with Mahalia, and I just am so proud of the leaps and bounds that she's taken to one, honor herself, honor her values, and actually do some things that change her direction as a BDM, which we're going to be going into this today, how she was able to adapt not only in her life and her career, but how she's also been able to adapt in the current market. So, Mahalia, welcome to the Rise Factor.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
I'm so excited for you to be here, and I'm so glad that you put your hand up to join me. So, for those that do not know you, who is Mahalia?
Mahalia. She's the person in the primary school class that was told that she was being disruptive. No, she Mahalia is a bubbly, energetic force of life who loves spending time with people, family, and just talking and loving and being herself. That's Mahalia.
I love that. I can definitely testament to that, your bubbly personality and nature. It's very contagious. And now, like, you have been looking at, doing more in your digital marketing. And I love that your personality that shines through on your digital marketing is just exactly like who you are. I remember one of the first reels that I saw that you did. I was just like, this is bloody brilliant. The fact that you just like come out of nowhere and like here she is. And it was just really great to see your personality. So well done. And you definitely
Thank
are bubbly
you.
and just such a breath of fresh air, honestly, in the industry. So let's talk about your career. How did you get started in working in the property management industry?
Yeah, really crazy. I came from a theatrical slash makeup artistry background, so big retail, big just people sort of environments all day, every day. And one of my friends I was working with at I was actually working at Lorna Jane at the time as well. She's like, you would thrive in real estate, and it was in the back of my head for about maybe 3 or 4 years. And when I was in my early 20s, it was had hit, and at that time I was working in a call center, and yeah, COVID had hit. We'd all been sent to work from home, and I was actually like really like depressed. It was awful. I couldn't be around people all day. And then I made the decision one day to just look up jobs, just entry level jobs in real estate. And I found a corporate reception role. So for a head office in James Street in Brisbane. And it was the best decision because I work in corporate reception. There were 17 franchises at the time. If they couldn't answer their phone, it would overflow to me, which is a huge responsibility. And it's something that I didn't realize at the time would really shape where I wanted to go in the industry. So that was a fantastic start. And I loved it so much that it kind of shaped that I wanted to move into leasing, and I got an opportunity in leasing, which also was fantastic because you get to meet so many walks of life. And then I realized that I can do so much more than leasing. While still doing leasing, I think leasing will always be my passion. Just being able to help people find homes is really important. Everyone needs a home, and that's where my heart came into the BDM and the property management side of things, and helping not only people find homes, but also helping investors be able to succeed in their goals as well. And then that helps me, and it kind of fulfills what I love to do. And that's how I got into property management.
What a great story. And first of all, for those that are listening and not watching, Mahalia's makeup looks on point today and always. So, interesting. I didn't know that about you because I actually used to be a makeup artist myself many, many years ago.
There
There's
you go.
some common ground that we have there. And I had a retail background before I got into real estate. So,
Mm.
service and being of service definitely helps, I think, when going into property management.
Mm.
I love a couple of things that you just said, leasing, but you help people find homes. And I think that's just
Mm.
such a powerful statement to just remember in the property management profession, that that's what we do, is we actually help people find their homes and some of their dream homes that they are going to be renting. And also when it comes to your investors now as a BDM, a statement that you just said is helping investors succeed in their goals. And I was like, that is so powerful that you can be, that you confidently said that, Mahalia. You were just like, what I do now. So how long have you been a BDM for now?
I've been a BDM full time, BDM rather than I kind of dabbled in it a little bit, but I've been a sole BDM since October last year, so almost a full year.
Yep. And so how has your journey been going so far?
It was a rocky start, I'm not going to lie. The opportunity came to me in my last company to step into BDM, and I was really excited to do so, just given obviously such a strong leasing background. And I didn't realize how big of a shift it would be.
Mm,
And it's a very autonomous role, and it's a very self succeeding role. If you don't feel passion, if you don't feel motivated to
mm,
do what you need to do, which might not be comfortable, but it needs to be done, then you won't succeed. And that was a bit of a rude awakening,
mhm.
but something that was taken in my stride. So it was then that I realized when I first started that I can do this and I'm good at it. But then a couple of months into the role as a BDM, I started the Rise program, and I found that on my own because I realized I was probably in over my head, quite a bit over my head. But I really wanted to do this, and I felt such a connection to what this role entailed. And so I reached out to Sarah, and we had a beautiful chat, and you just had your little bubba as well. And it was a lovely phone conversation, just initially getting to connect with you. And I went through the Rise program, and it completely changed my outlook, or to the point of I changed companies, which is really hard to do as a BDM, because what you want to do is you want to solidify yourself in a core environment so that you, like, my goal and always will be is to be my go-to BDM, the go-to BDM of my core suburbs and
Mhm.
beyond. But it's hard changing to a different company, because then you do have that opportunity of lost trust, and what you've created in doing the Rise program really helped me to align my values personally and professionally, and realize that the company I was with, not that they were doing anything wrong or it wasn't good, it just didn't align with my values. And I was going to work every day, burnt out, exhausted, kind of hating the job,
Mm,
but not the role. And
mhm.
so for me, it was a really, really bumpy start. And then I figured out where my values lied and what I wanted to achieve as well. And I figured out that I wasn't going to do that with that company. And that was really hard for me, because I'm a very loyal person, and I had a lot of loyalty. I made so many great relationships and friendships. And I was really, really grateful for the opportunity they gave me to move into this role as well. Um, and then I moved to a different company, and just from the interview stages, I'd been speaking to Sarah at the time, and I was like, look, I've got this great opportunity. I think it's going to be fantastic. And after my interview, I met with the business owners, and I don't think we really spoke about business all that much. And I think that's so important as well. We just spoke about who we are. I mean, it's where I grew up, this suburb as well. So it felt like everything was aligning really well. And I got my spark back. And there was a point there during the Rise program where I wasn't doing so well, and Sarah was fantastic. And we had that chat, we had that conversation. I said, I'm not doing great. And I said, I think I might need to change. And Sarah was very much like, look, figure it out. And I did. And then I think Sarah can be a testament to that, I came back for a one-on-one a couple of weeks later into this role with my new company. And it was just a completely different Mahalia. And now, now I'm on the up and up again in the industry. And I'm really proud of making that move, and making sure that I feel valued myself, so that I can value everyone else around me, my team, my clients, my friends, my family. And yeah, that's kind of where my role took me, was from a really strong to a bumpy to I would say, stable
Mm.
place in my career.
I love that. First of all, like, thank you for your honesty. And I think anyone listening can just really acknowledge and hear that passion in your voice and the step that you took. And it wasn't an easy decision. Like, I remember the conversations that we had, but also the decision that you took to be like, I actually want to keep doing this, but something needs to change. And you took the necessary steps to make that change rather than just continue to be stuck. in an environment that, let's be honest, you weren't 100% thriving in. So now, the Mahalia that I see, and even just speaking to you now and just being so proud of how you present yourself, is just incredible. So well done for making
Thank you.
that leap.
And I think if anyone's listening as well, that it's really hard when you're a loyal and a kind person. And I think especially in real estate, a lot of people take real estate agents as unkind or pushy. And I guess we can touch on that however we want to touch on that. But if you aren't okay, you can't make others okay.
Mhm.
And sometimes it's your environment, and it's a scary thing, especially when you have that loyalty. But if this is your sign to maybe just ask it the question, even just start the conversation in your mind,
Mm.
this is your sign to do that, because I guarantee you it's going to probably be the best thing you've ever done.
Yeah, and has a ripple effect. Like we spend the majority of our time at work. That's our biggest environment. So then there's the ripple effect is then we're not happy in that environment. We take that home and it impacts our relationships. If you've got children, it'll affect our relationship with our children, our partners. So I think it's really important to just acknowledge that and like, well, is it the environment or is it something that I need to change as well? It could be
Yeah,
that we're not showing up as our best selves in our environment necessarily too. So let's talk
absolutely.
about Mahalia now. So you made the change. I obviously see you show up, but let's talk about some of the strategies now, right? Because you
Mm.
add a new business. What are some things that you have been doing now that is helping you to get to that next thriving stage?
Yeah, definitely. Well, something that I've started to implement was my social media,
Mhm.
which I really love. Like I said before, I came from a very creative background. So having an outlet to be creative in a
Mm.
professional sense is really something that people are gravitating towards, and they're coming into the crazy world of mostly Mahalia,
Yeah.
which is fun, and that's something that is really working well for me. It's good that I can share it with my clients, and they're getting more of that personal effect. But that's probably number one. Number two is this is something that this I call this the Sarah Cincotta classic. Be comfortable with being uncomfortable. It's like the words I live by now.
Yeah.
So for me, being consistent with calling.
Mm.
And you posted on your Instagram a couple of weeks ago that you were really disappointed with the industry. Why are BDMs not picking up the phone? And that hit like a chord with me. And I was like, yeah, Mahalia, why aren't you picking up the phone again? So calling is just so important in making those connections, in being tangible and being consistent with it. I
Mm.
think that for me, there's so many different pots you can put your pies in, or whatever the terminology is.
Yeah, yeah.
There's so many different things that you can be doing to create business and create growth. But if you're half-assing every single one of them, you're never going to feel complete or whole or successful in it. So for me, I'm focusing on one thing at a time and getting to, I would say, 80% of where I go. I can't remember who I saw it. I think it may have just been a random TikTok video the other day. But it was saying that if you have a micromanager and your team of say 5 are giving 50% of, 100% of what they do, and you're micromanaging it, and it takes them X amount of time to do that. Whereas if you don't micromanage, or you are getting really good at what you do and they're doing it at 80%, mistakes are made, and that's fine, then inevitably they're going to be doing more work,
Mhm.
making a couple of mistakes, but in the long run it's sustainable, and you're actually going to see success at 100% in the long run. So that's what I'm finding at the moment, is being consistent with social media, calls, being consistent with follow up, a good one as well, and just focusing on getting really, really good at that,
Yeah.
so that I can take off another bite of, for example, more referral partner meetings, or take off little bites of networking events a bit more. So, yeah, I think that for me, tangibly taking your basics and your cores,
Mhm.
that's what I'm focusing on. And I think it's working really well for me, because it's still seeing success in what I want to see success in. And it's making sure that I'm doing it at a quality that I'm happy with, rather than a quantity that I'm not, and inevitably is unsustainable.
Yeah, I love that. Definitely one of the things that, I love that you highlighted there was when calling, and then you though said connections, which I love that you initially said calling, but then you said the connections and being consistent with that. So a lot of the time I get, some BDMs who might be looking at either starting to be a BDM, or perhaps they might be looking to change to a different office. And because you've made that change, where you are now, as part of your role, is it your responsibility to get leads, or is it that office is also helping you receive leads and then you nurture, or is it a bit of both?
It's a bit of both, but I think it's important that a lot of from looking at changing offices, and a lot of the expectations of a BDM
Mm,
is the capability to prospect. And I think that BDMs as a whole need to understand that there are similar traits to sales prospecting, similar,
mm,
but it is completely different in BDM. It is a completely different ballpark. And I think that if you're looking at starting as a BDM or changing into an office, I think that it's really important to have clear communication of what that standard looks like. So if your office is hiring you specifically as a prospecting BDM, what does prospecting look like for you in a BDM role? What does that entail, and what support are you giving me? Or what if I need XYZ support? Know the support you need. I need XYZ to be successful in my prospecting. And if they're aligning with you, fantastic. If they're not, maybe figure out if that's the right place for you. But you have to figure it out in your mind. You have to be strong in your head. You have to know what works for you, what doesn't work for you, because sometimes there are some companies out there that I see it, which is fantastic, but they have to have 3 referral partner meetings before they go into the office. That's brilliant. I love that, and I think it's fantastic, but it doesn't work for me right now.
mm,
And I know that my company knows that, and I know that there are other factors in prospecting that do work really well for me that I've communicated, and I go, okay, well, if I want to up that level, I need XYZ, whether it's DLs, letterbox drops,
mm,
boosts on social media, whether it's a leasing agent, things like that. You have to be clear and figure it out. And if you don't know what you want and how to get there, ask somebody who might be able to help you figure it out. For example, Sarah, or or another BDM in the area, or reach out to me. I mean, I'm not fantastic at it, but I have been there, so I can help.
yeah. Oh my gosh. Just so many great things that you have said, and just such value that you're giving to any BDM listening. And I think I completely agree with you, lovely, with what you've said and where you're at. I think also it's just having the courage to approach your leader and being like, hey, I'm struggling with this, and this is why, because it actually doesn't feel comfortable I'm doing this, and at least explore that and see if
Yeah.
there's extra support that perhaps you need to be able to be fulfilled in doing that activity. So, and I
Mm.
find that, prospecting, whether it is prospecting to get new referral partners, or prospecting to get new clients, or prospecting to nurture your current existing clients, there's still that element of prospecting. So sometimes we just need to strip it back and go, what is our view about prospecting?
Yeah.
Like, why do we need to do prospecting? What is the outcome? How do I actually feel about that? And I think I don't know if you remember, Mahalia, one of the things I said in the Rise program, like, change it in your calendar so that it doesn't say prospecting. So it says connection calls or something.
I have my call session. That's my mobile number, because I keep forgetting it when I leave work. But I cross it out every day. I go call session / slay session.
I love that. I love that. Slave session. See, that's what we're talking about, BDMs listening. It's like, change it up and change your perspective, because, literally you are being of service to others, that, you just never know on that chance that you do make that call and you connect with someone that they needed to hear that message from you that day, or perhaps they are having a really terrible experience with their current agency, or they're self-managing, they've just had enough, and you just get there right time, right place.
It's a numbers game, and my leader says this to me every day, because I can sometimes get really fixated on the conversation rather than the capacity, which is fine, and no one has an issue with that. But on weeks that I haven't done as many connects, and it's not connects in regards to the numbers, even though I just said it's a number side of things, it's connects in regards to wanting to help investors and tenants as well. But it's a numbers game. It's right place, right time. If you're in a lucky position, you've put yourself in that position to be lucky and get that lead and get that business. But it's also, if 5 people have said no, the 6th one might say yes. And then you know that if you need 2 yeses, statistically 12 people will say no. 10 people will say no, so 2 people say yes. And it's all about numbers and how consistent you are in doing so. And I think that if I can give any advice to anyone, because I knock myself for this all the time and I have to keep reminding myself, don't measure on the month to month. Give it a really good red hot crack. If you're going to be a BDM, give it 12 months, but measure it. You have to have the measurable goals, because sometimes January is not going to be as good as your June. And I mean, you've got spring selling season, so your December is going to be obviously crazy, November, and then equate it over 12 months. And then if it's not where you want to be, but you want to keep doing it, at least you've got the numbers there to go, okay, where am I figuring it out? Where am I getting better? What do I need? It's about the numbers in regards to the business, but it's what you're bringing to the business as well.
Yeah, completely agree. So let's talk about, so one thing that I'm really proud that you've done is you've been able to adapt, right? You've adapted to a new environment, you adapted to, being in property management and then going into the BDM space. But one thing that we spoke about before coming online is that market, right? The market is constantly changing. And one of the things that as a BDM, one of our core responsibilities and role is that we need to know our marketplace. We need to constantly know what's happening, not just right now, but predicting the future. Like we've got another RBA rate announcement that will come out. Like you said before, we've got spring selling, which is coming up. So knowing that and preparing what that looks like to help the investors buying at that time. And then the investors that will be looking to make a decision with their property management at the end of the year. We all know December, January is crazy busy, right?
Yeah.
So what are your tips to the BDMs to be able to handle the situation when it occurs, to be able to adapt and pivot very quickly because the market has shifted?
I would say prepare yourself. So for me, I went to the Australian Real Estate Conference earlier in this year, and I saw Ariana Titmus, Ariana Titmus, the swimmer. She's fantastic. She spoke on this, and I've started utilizing it in my everyday to prepare me for things such as market shifts. And the Olympics are 4 years away. So you've got a 4-year goal of the Olympics. So if we're looking at 4 years, what's going to happen in 2 years? And what can I do in 2 years' time to get me to the 4 years? Then we're halving that again to 1 year. Then we're halving that to 6 months, 3 months, 1 month, 1 week, 1 day. And for me, I set up my days to prepare myself to succeed in market shifts. So I smash out the hardest part of my day. And we're all gonna agree on this. The hardest part of your day is sitting down to do your calls. It's always going to be the hardest part, but it's going to be the greatest part of your day. So I smash out my calls in the morning. I get in a really good space. I've connected with people, and then if I have no out of office, no appraisals, what I'm doing is setting up my week to prep myself with collateral, prep myself with stats, prep myself with numbers. I make sure that I set time aside to prepare myself to go, okay, if, for example, buyer leads aren't working because there's so many investors who are getting beat out by first homeowners. That's a very big trend we're seeing at the moment, which is fine, but it just means that all of my buyer leads won't come to fruition for a while. So if I need to see success now, what am I pivoting to? So I've prepped, for example, on the market trackers, things like that, to be in place more dominant in this season at the moment, because this season of the market is more dominant with on the market trackers. And I know that I'm really fantastic at leasing. So I'm finding the connections to go, hey, how is your leasing going? I see you, for example, I've found really great success. I'm going to give away my secrets if you don't know this already, but I think you should be doing it. Call them after, if you see something come on the market, call them after the first weekend of inspections if you're not doing it.
Mm.
So if it comes on Thursday, you see, like, you've got a Saturday open home, call them on Monday, ask them how it went. I used to leave it. I used to wait until it was over, like, the average days on market of the median. I used to wait and go, hey, I see you are past the median. And that used to work for me. And then I found more success in this. But find tactics. If one thing isn't working, use your time wisely. Continue to do your prospecting, smash it out, get yourself in a really good mood to then go, hey, I'm really motivated to then find other ways to set myself up for when the market shifts. Because if it's not, and recognize it as well. And then utilize, like, your sales team around you as well to go, hey, how are you finding this? Maybe I'll come to your open home this afternoon, or like use the tools you have around you to find different avenues, and then reassess. Always come to the end of the month and reassess, going, hey, let's maybe add a couple more buyer calls into my call sessions because maybe it's shifted. And if it hasn't shifted, shift back to what's working, and just have yourself set up with like pre-packaged meals, I would say. Yeah, it's like meal prep, but for work. And yeah, be confident in what you're doing as well. Like, know that you know your stuff, and that just because one thing's not working, don't stick with it. Like, stick with it, but don't give it everything. Try and add something else, and try and keep moving. And if you don't know what to do, ask, or just, I don't know, get out in the community a bit more as well, and see what other BDMs are doing. I mean, imitation is the highest form of flattery as well. So, and I know that BDMs are always going to scroll on their phone and be like, hey, I did that, or blah, blah, blah. But you know what? If it works, it works. And we're all here to support each other and see what people are doing to set themselves up as well.
For sure. Yeah. So much value in everything that you just said. So if you could give just any BDM that's listening right now one piece of advice to, smash out the rest of the year, what would it be?
Oh, consistency. Be consistent. Act on your plan and not your mood.
I love that. I love that. Act on your plan and not your mood. I love that. And if you could go back and tell this version of Kendall something, of this version of Mahalia something, what would it be?
It's okay to be uncomfortable if it's growing you, and if it's going to make you a better person. But if it's uncomfortable and it's hurting you, you owe it to yourself to recognize that and change and stop.
Very, very powerful. Thank you so much for joining me today, Mahalia. I'm actually just in awe of just how you present yourself, through just the amount of growth that I've seen in a very short amount of time from you, and just how much value you've been able to give on, it's been like 45 minutes that we've been talking, because BDM's listening, we weren't prepped for today. I was just like, let's have a conversation, see how it goes, because I had full faith that you would just absolutely nail this. And I can only imagine from the conversations that we've had, the level of conversations that you're having when you connect with people. So well done to you.
Thank you. Oh, I owe a lot of it to you, but I'm so grateful. And the Rise program, and just Sarah as a mentor, is just fantastic. And anyone who gets to cross your path, I swear, God sent.
Well, I hopefully get to see you in person one day.
Absolutely. You're coming up to Queensland, so
yes.
Yeah, we can definitely catch up.
Thank you again. And for those listening and they would love to connect with you and perhaps catch up in person, or just have a phone call, where can I direct them to?
Oh my goodness, please DM me on Instagram. I am mostly Mahalia. It's hard to forget that name. So DM me on Instagram. All my details are on there. I would love to, even if you just want to catch up for a coffee or a FaceTime or a chat, I'm always free. Always free.
I love that. Thank you again, Mahalia. And for those listening, as always, keep rising.